Welcome into the Official Jets podcast.
Dangling a steak in front of a lion and you ain't got no cage in between you. He gonna get to that steak.
So let's go inside the matchup.
A motivated Aaron Rodgers is a dangerous Aaron Rodgers.
Game day and every day, score a jewelry touchdown with Kendra Scott. Shop fashion and fine jewelry fit for another winning season at your local store or at kendrascott.com. Shine bright, do good with Kendra Scott.
Mr. Mangold, let's start here. How much are you enjoying coaching at the high school level?
I'm loving it. It's exactly what I thought, what I expected football-wise, but the amount of fun I'm having is so much more than I expected.
What has changed and what remains the same as far as football is concerned that you're coaching now compared to when you were in high school?
Film.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't have film in high school. And so now we have sideline, we have end zone, we have drone footage. We're able to watch everything from practice. So, like, that blows my mind for these high school kids that they have all this information available to them. But it's still X's and O's and, still got to get the job done. So, but it's great kids, and that makes the job so much easier.
What do you like most about it? You love playing and you love being in the room, but now as a coach, what do you like the most about it?
I love the teaching aspect of it, being able to spread the joy of football and the knowledge of it and understanding the game, not just what to do, but why to do. And I think that's a big proponent of it. And, it's a lot of fun. And I was very fortunate having some great coaches in high school who helped me along, not only football, but life in general. And so be able to give back in that same, hopefully, role for some of these kids, is a lot of fun too. And so it's been a great experience. It's nerve-wracking.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
More than as a player?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, explain.
As a player, you have final control over whether you win a play or you don't win a play. You're still in a team aspect, and it takes all 11 guys. But for yourself personally, you have control whether or not you win. As a coach, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make them drink the water. So you have to hope that everything that you've taught and drilled and done and hopefully repped multiple times sinks in and they win the play. But ultimately, they have to do it. You can't do it.
I find it so interesting that you're doing this now. Do you have more of a passion for coaching than you did playing, or is it just a different passion? The love is the same.
Love is the same. It's a different passion. I love playing. It was obviously one of the greatest things I've ever done, probably other than my kids. But the coaching, like the passion of it, the excitement of it is a lot of fun.
All right, so a lot of our viewers and a lot of people are listening right now. The Official Jets podcast are tuning in and listening because they want to know about the Jets. I just want to speak about your relationship with the organization and how much it has meant to you over the years.
Yeah, I mean, obviously drafted here in 2006, coming right out of college, moving to Strong Island when we were still at Hofstra, and then making the transition over to New Jersey and settling here and being a part of this team. As we've made grown our roots deeper and deeper here in the Florham Park area, and so it's been something. Being able to finish out my career here, only playing for one team, is something really special to me. And it's a great team to be a part of. This fan base is as passionate as they come, loyal as all get out, and dying for a winner. And that's something I've been striving since 2006 to hopefully bring home to here in New York is that winner that everyone wants and deserves.
Dying for a winner. That's a great transition. Right now the Jets are 3-7. They enter this year with so many expectations. You live down the street. You were here throughout the summer. You're helping us on the content side throughout the year. How much do you empathize with the fan right now because of what's actually transpired? And also, with that being said, what kind of message would you have for the guys in the room right now? Because there's still 7 games remaining in the year. You play 17 games. Their season is not over.
Yeah, and I think so. It's the duality of football, where you have the fan side, the fanatics, the people that love this game and live and breathe it, week in and week out. And, with the expectations that were set at the beginning of the season, through the spring, through the summer, and to be sitting where we are at 3-7 as a fan is frustrating and disappointing. And you have such high hopes of where we were going. But then at the same time as a player, you're still in the fight. Like, it's not over by any means. And we had this in 2009, I want to say. Rex count us out of the playoffs.
Yes. After the Atlanta
infamously.
game.
Yeah, so there it goes. That's the season. And it was like, oh, Rex, actually, we're not mathematically eliminated. We can still make it. Lo and behold, we still made it. And so that's one of the funny things. Like, it's not over until the math says it's over. And so the guys in the room right now, they're fighting, and this is part of their struggle because they want a winner. Maybe not so much the same reasons that the fans do as Jets fans, but they want a winner because it's a business. They want to do their job. They want to do their job to the best of their ability. And so you're playing for twofold. You're playing for the name on the front of the jersey, obviously, so you can get the awards and the accolations and everything, but you're also playing for the name on the back of your jersey.
Right.
And, whether you're here next year or you're somewhere else, someone's going to turn on the film and be like, hey, listen, you were in dire straits at 3-7. What did you do? And did you play to the best of your ability, or did you fold up and call it quits? Because if you fold up, call it quits, we're not going to give you another job. So I think that's the tough part, is that, the players are fighting tooth and nail to get the job done. And, unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't work out the best way. And, that's where you end up at 3-7, where the fans are like, well, it's all doom and gloom. They're not even trying. And that's just not the case.
Right. And I was talking to Bart about this the other day when we taped our first podcast this week. And he said that guys can press in terms of they want to do so much that maybe they're taking on a different role or responsibility as opposed to maybe just handling what they have to. And can you speak to that? Is the guy who's the pivot for so long that you need 11 on the same page?
Yeah, you need 11 on the same page. And I think that the big thing is when you guys try to do too much, they lose sight of the job that they're supposed to do by themselves. And, and it really comes down to, the guys that are working closely next to you. So, maybe a left guard's like, hey, listen, I need to help out my left tackle more than I think I do. And so now he's trying to, he's thinking about, hey, let me help the left tackle. And all of a sudden now his play is diminished because he's now thinking about something else other than just playing left guard. And you can go down the line. You can look at the tight end being like, hey, listen, I got to hit this route the right way because, I need to be here for the quarterback. But then, if he's only thinking about the routes and now he's like, oh, well, but my run blocking's gone down because I'm not thinking about my run blocking. So you start to, when you're looking for answers, when you're going through a rough spell, and the biggest thing you need to do is just go back to the fundamentals, do my job, and trust that the guy next to me is going to do his job.
Yeah, and that's not sexy for the fan, and you get that too because they do want to see ultimately the winner, but this is a process-oriented business, right? Like you have to take care of the process. You have to put one foot before the other. How difficult was it for you? This is a different time. I'm older than you, but you played in a different era. Do you think, how difficult was it for you at times to ignore the noise externally, if at all? And how difficult do you think it is for these guys now, and how do you kind of put a force field up?
Yeah, it's got to be crazy difficult now. When I first started, there was no such thing as social media. I think Facebook was still just for college kids. And so, there was no, it wasn't in your face every day. Fantasy football was still there, but not to the level that it is now. There were no DMs, and so if you wanted to cut out the noise, you just didn't buy a newspaper. And now all of a sudden, you're like, I'm good.
Right.
I don't turn on ESPN, and I don't read a newspaper. I don't hear any noise. Now, it's 24/7. You have your phone with you at all times. You see it, come across. So it's got to be a struggle. It's got to be very difficult to tune it out. But, that's the world we live in, and that's what you have to do.
Game day and every day, score a jewelry touchdown with Kendra Scott. Shop fashion and fine jewelry fit for another winning season at your local store or kendrascott.com. Shine bright, do good with Kendra Scott.
Talented roster, we know that. And I think a lot of people probably are tired of talking about the talent. But there are very good players here. And we've seen it at times throughout all these games, but for whatever reason, not on a consistent level. So I guess that's the battle right now.
It is, and you listen to Aaron talk about the last, I think it was 3 weeks of practice being, some of the greatest weeks of practice that we've had, and it doesn't translate on the field, and that's disappointing. And so then you try to figure out why, like why is it not translating, and that's something that I think really only the players and the coaches can really diagnose, because the fans don't see that. They don't see what happens Monday to Saturday. They just see what happens on Sunday, and so that's difficult. Also for the fans to hear, like, oh, well, we had a great week of practice, but then, we came out and laid an egg here or there. And you're like, well, why didn't you do that? And so it is difficult. It's frustrating, but it's something that, great teams are able to work around.
Do you really consider it in the NFL 17 one-game seasons, meaning that this is completely different than Major League Baseball or hockey or basketball, that you only have 17 of these, and then when you play a game like you did in Arizona where everybody was disappointed with ultimately the execution there, how quickly can you turn the page?
I think that's the great thing of the NFL schedule is that you have to turn the page quickly. Otherwise, you go into this death spiral of like, oh, well, we coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
We had that, forget which game it was with Rex. We had a terrible game. We came out and laid an egg. And we came back here, and it was we're sitting in team meeting. It was everybody outside. We're outside, and he took the game ball from that game and buried it in the ground. It was like, we're done with that. We're moving on. That was pardon my French, a shitty game, but we move on, and that's what we did. Turn it around.
That was the debacle at Gillette, I think. Jimmy Leonard got hurt on the practice field Friday, and you guys went to the Patriots. I think they buried the ball after that, and then
that probably was
and then not too long after that, you totally flipped the script there in New England divisional playoffs, beating Brady in his building.
So you only have so many opportunities. So you have to make the most of them when you get them.
We were talking before. You like Jets' young center Joe Tippmann. What do you like most, and what's his future looking like?
His future looks great, as long as he keeps working and keeps doing well. What I love the most is that he is a hard worker. He's a tall center, 6'6", I believe, but he bends well, and he can move. And so I think those two things combined, he's still a young guy, so he's still going to get stronger. He's still going to get, as he starts to learn some of the wily vet moves and everything. I think the opportunity to be able to have Aaron behind him is giving him a great base. I was able to have Chad Pennington behind me to start. And, Chad taught me so much about protections and how to see defenses, read defenses. So to have that experience going forward, it will be a great opportunity for him.
So no matter what happens in the future, invaluable experience, him working with the Hall of Fame passer behind him, who's got 20 years experience, who's done everything, is one of the greatest players to ever play.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, you watch Aaron on the sidelines and the way that he works with the guys, he doesn't keep anything, close to his vest. He talks to the guys, and, he's a teacher while being a coach and while being a player.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great thing for a lot of these young guys. You see that a lot with him and Garrett Wilson. After each play at practice, they would sit back and talk about, all right, what'd you see, what'd you do there? You ran the route this way or threw this way, and so I think that's invaluable for these young guys.
You are a proud alum of the Ohio State University. What have you taken from Garrett's development here, from the time he was in C-Bus to now in his third year in the NFL?
He's doing great. Proud Buckeye alumnus to have Garrett here and doing what he's doing, and it's great seeing him continue to find his way here and keep continuing to get better, which is awesome. He's a fantastic receiver and he's an even better person. So that combination, here on the beloved New York Jets, is a great thing.
But what do you think about his talents? What sets him apart? Right now, I think he's at 65 receptions, and Chase with the Bengals at 66, so he's right there, and then he's third or fourth in receiving yards right now.
I think his knack for finding the ball. I mean, he has the ability to go up and find the ball anywhere within that catch radius, and I think that's a big. You can't teach that. That's just kind of a talent that you have, and so he's got one of the great talents of it.
So if you're down there in the locker room, you know what the situation is. You're 3-7, and you got the bye coming up. The approach to this game, specifically the Colts, and just getting one and feeling better about yourself before you get a little bit of rest, and maybe the coaches have more time to take things in and do a self-scout.
Definitely, and I think that's a big thing. You definitely want to get a win before going into the bye. It's always difficult, going to a bye with a loss because then you dwell on it for way too long. So getting a win would be great, and then finally get to take a breath. We've had a wild schedule of different primetime games and Thursday night games and everything. So to be able to sit back and you're like, all right, here's where we're at. Here's what we do well. Here's what we're not doing so well. Let's fix it and let's finish out strong.
With the changes, especially what happened there early in the season, you bring in Jeff Ulbrich, you promote him to head coach. It's going to be huge having this time for the entire staff, because not only is Ulbrich promoted to head coach, where he's overseeing the entire operation, but Todd Downing took on the play calling duties as well.
Yeah, and so I think this gives a chance for the staff to be able to sit down and be like, all right, here's what we're doing, here's what we're not doing. This is working well, this isn't working well. We report, this guy reports here, this guy reports there. So be able to sit down and sit back and be like, all right, we have a week. Let us really focus in on all the different things and take a deep breath and really dive into the details of what we're doing here.
So you're a busy dude. You're coaching ball. You're coaching your kids' teams. They're keeping you active left and right. Globally, your take on the NFL so far this season, not just the Jets, but what you've seen.
I think recently we've had some great games. I've been staying up way too late because these games.
Really?
Oh yeah. We just this last Monday night game, coming down to the wire. The last Thursday night game coming down to the wire. So it's been some fun football. As a casual observer of all teams, it's been great to be able to turn on a game, and you haven't seen too many games where it's like, all right, I know this team's going to win. Like you watch games, you're like, I don't know who's going to win. Like we have to watch to find out.
Yeah, we're going to have to watch to find out, see what happens with the Jets this weekend against the Colts. Mr. Mangold, appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.